Welcome to PM Express. In the last 1 month, the ECG has been waging a war. That war, it's coming to a close. But is it? How is the ECG going to sustain it over the period? And how much have they raised? A lot of monies have been bandied about. We'll get to the heart of what really is the exact amount. So tonight we're going to interrogate the results. After a month of chasing defaulters, illegal, people who are enjoying electricity illegally and all, what really has the ECG achieved over the last 1 month? We'll get to the heart of it as they wrap up this month-long exercise. Some of the numbers that we begin to see will begin to unpack it. But this is the man who has been leading this over the last 1 month. He is my guest today when we sit down for a conversation. And the target we're told at the beginning was 5.7 billion. So far, from what we've heard, is 2.5 billion. But this was something that we're told a few days back. Has there been an update on this number? We'll try and get it for you when we sit down for a conversation. And then you look at the debt situation that we currently have. The IPP say they are owed 1.6 billion. Then you have the situation with the debt generated by energy sector annually at 1 billion average. And then you look at the excess capacity charges per year of $500 dollars on an average. So this is a few of the things that we need to be looking at. But for me, fundamentally, we want to look at the results so far, but how do you sustain this over the period? My guest is in the studio with me. He is the boss of the ECG, and as you see, he's already seated and ready to go with the details for me. We're going to be drilling.
We're recording this Progressive commercial on a real boat to let people know that when you bundle your home, boat, and other vehicles...
What was that, Flo?
Progressive saves you money, Jamie.
Why are we doing this on a boat?
We were going for authenticity.
We're going to the city?
Authenticity.
You mean Atlantic City? But we're not in the Atlantic. Are we?
Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Down to what they have found, who is going to be prosecuted. Because what I learned also in the process is that part of this, exercise is also to gather evidence that will go before possibly the Attorney General. And by the way, the ECG also has their own internal prosecutors who are going to be activated with the Chief Justice involvement, actually setting up a special court. So there's a lot really to interrogate at the end of this exercise. How many people are in line to face prosecution? And for the first time, the man you see in the studios there tells us that you're not going to face a charge of illegal connection or bypass. It's a criminal offense. Thief is what you shout when you see somebody taking your property without your permission. A very famous pastor once defined stealing as borrowing without permission. So they borrow from the ECG without the ECG's knowledge. He says, well, if that's what you did, then you call it what it is. It is stealing. We will shout thief when we find you, and it's going to go before the court. But how will he sustain that? Isn't he really going to spend a lot of money prosecuting and not recovering the monies that we need? We'll get to the heart of that. So stay with me here on PM Express after the break.
My name is C. I'm a person living with HIV. I got to know of my HIV status when I became pregnant. Since then, I have successfully been delivered of an HIV-negative baby, thanks to PMTCT services. I follow the guidelines and take my HIV medicine called ARVs every day to date. This makes me strong, healthy, and prevents me from passing HIV onto my baby. Please avail yourself of PMTCT services when pregnant. It is the only way to ensure that you do not transmit HIV onto your baby during pregnancy, birth, and breastfeeding. Even if you have tested for HIV recently and was negative, test again when pregnant. If you test positive, take the baby back to the hospital immediately after birth, as directed by your healthcare provider. The baby will also be given medicine immediately after birth and tested to ensure that both mother and baby are well. Let's work together to have a generation free of HIV.
Our children must be free to shine.
Whiskey. Wash it. All of a sudden, my voice I different. And when you saw a call. Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Chalet, honey near dear Frau. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman, bring my friend one Black Rock whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the over Sikanton Sata? You've been to a man, no?
Black Rock whiskey, tell me the feeling smoothness, no?
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
On air. And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
Can he tee up someone in red? And it goes to
What's 5 champions league? You want to know? I be the real goat. What's the real goat? The left magician. The left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
Oh, that shit. You two they lie. Eh? Now they say you when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey! You are Ghana Jollof.
Are you busy? Forget everybody. Yeah. My guy. Put some respect on the goat. On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama. Every year we give to you back to back. We are talking about BET. I want some Yajiaji face. Except be the goat. Huh? My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 and recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, more and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
For crystal clear and thrilling podcasts and live shows, download and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, MyJoy Online, Amazon services like Echo, Amazon Music, and Audible, Stitcher, Adom Online, Overcast, and Pandora. Take note of everything. Sign up for the multimedia digital platforms now to stay updated.
The joy of every tiler is using the ideal tile adhesive for a lasting bonding. It is for this reason that tilers and builders always use Webercore tile adhesives. They know that Webercore tile adhesives are of European quality and produced locally by St. Gobain Weber Ghana. They know that Webercore tile adhesives have all the additives and chemicals, and all you need is water. They know that Webercore tile adhesives are what you use for indoor, outdoor, and swimming pools. And they know that if they have to tile right and tile once, then it is Webercore tile adhesives. Webercore tile adhesives are available at major outlets like City Ceramica, Interstar Ceramics, Skyview Express, Atala Limited, Antis Limited, Wafo Depot, Tago, Kantamanto, and Koforidua, and an outlet near you. For retailing and your project, call 0556 486 342.
Weber, we care.
And thanks for staying with us. My guest is the boss of ECG. He is Samuel Dubik Mahama, is the MD, the managing director of the company, and many say he's a man of the hour or the man of the month. He's been a month on the ground, boots on the ground. And I remember the last time I interviewed him at the beginning of the exercise. I went to his office, and the journalist that I am, I wanted to verify that the things he's been telling us was true, because he had said that morning when he did his radio rounds that everybody in his office is out going to collect money. So I started opening doors, floor from one floor to the next. And all the doors were closed. In fact, even for him, I couldn't find him. And I had to wait for a long time. He came in sweating with his secretary. And I thought he was being unfair to the secretary, because why would you put a secretary out there to go and collect money? A month on, Samuel, thanks for joining us on PM Express again. You are still collecting money. You are still out there, everybody. In fact, today, the minister laced his boots and joined you on the ground.
That's true.
How did that go?
Well, good evening, and thank you for having me. The minister laced his boots. I dove my hat off to him. He's one of the people who have supported us throughout this entire exercise, and his level of support I cannot emphasize. I'd like to say a big thank you to him, all the deputy ministers of energy. I'd like to say a big thank you to the staff of ECG, management, and the board. Look, the ECG staff have shown some tremendous level of professionalism that hasn't been seen. We can now see the excitement in work and the friendship and the excitement in doing our work. Evans, if they had done anything wrong out there by now, we would all hear.
Of course.
But they've carried out this exercise. We are in our final week. And there's no backlash as to how staff carried themselves out there. And I want to say big respect to them. I appreciate their efforts. And at the end of the day, we will all sit down together and share in this glory. It's been a fun period. I won't say it's been difficult. I also have to thank the good people of Ghana, also our customers. They've been very kind. Yes, we've had a few issues here and there where people push back and all of that. But at the end of the day, I think the message is going across very well, that no matter what you do, it's something you have consumed and it's something that you have to pay for. So we need to find a way moving forward and make sure that this gap doesn't happen again.
2.5 billion is what you said a couple of days ago when you were asked, how much have you collected? Is it so around?
I said I was ranging above 2 billion, but some people pegged it at 2.5.
Well, we need to run it off.
Yes. But I just want to stay very moderate and say ECG currently is ranging above 2 billion.
Above 2 billion. Yeah. Your target was 5.7 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you've done just about half of it.
Yeah.
But you haven't reconciled yet?
No. Okay. We are supposed to wrap up by tomorrow. Okay. But because 21st is also a Friday, we are thinking of, you know what, guys, let's just add the Friday, or let's take a breather and see those who are touched and how they would respond on Friday. And then after the holiday on Monday, we'll do our reconciliations and all of that, and then we'll have figures to discuss with all of you.
Okay. So now it's ended. Tomorrow, you close this completely, and then you move on to giving us a sense of what you got. What next?
What next is about sustaining this.
Okay. And how are you planning to sustain it?
We are planning to make sure that it's going to happen the last week of every month.
Okay.
You see, when you are dealing with a customer, you need to have a fair idea of who the customer is and how the customer responds to certain situations that are on the ground. So it all boils down to our character and our morals and our responsibilities and how we manage situations. It's clear that in certain places you get there and they just give you your money because clearly they knew one day you would come. Certain places they didn't even plan for you, so they squandered the money and they're expecting you to give them a payment plan. So we don't want those things to happen again. So we are going to actually put it in our calendar moving forward because that's what we understand. We have a background where growing up, you always had the headmaster or the parent who was in charge, who would crack the whip. So since we are used to that, maybe that's the style that we have to use, and then we go for it. Look, right now, there's no more excuses. You can't say I didn't have a bill, that's why I didn't pay, blah. You know, certain parts of the world, meters are read twice in a year for reconciliation purposes. So whatever bill you've ever had, or whatever assessment was done for you at the beginning of the when you took the service, just keep paying on account. Because believe you me, if you don't pay on account with the excuse that I don't have a bill, well, it's adding up, and it will catch up with you the day it's read. So the moment it's read, unless you have a bag somewhere that you are keeping the money in, hoping that when we come, you just have the money for us. If not, you're better off paying, because if you are sticking to the old bill we give to you, if tariff changes and you still stick to it, guess what? You still close the gap and you look responsible. So when we come, it will be more of mediating a situation and not actually taking you off. But if we come and your bill is so high, definitely we cannot allow you to keep adding on to that. So we will take you off. You'll be disconnected.
So once last week of every month, after this ends on Friday, you'd go chasing people again for their monies. And in this period, I remember the last time we spoke, you also made the point, and I think it's one of those parts of this whole project that you began a month ago that hasn't been talked about, which is that you're gathering evidence.
Yes.
To move forward with prosecution.
Yes.
So a month ago you told me that. Give me an update on that process.
So
because we're not only collecting money.
Yes, and also we are checking out for the illegal connections and the illegal bypasses and all of that. See, what our customers fail to realize is that the meter doesn't belong to the customer. Because of how Guru boys have found themselves into this system, when you hear people make statements like, I bought the meter. Please, you didn't buy the meter. The meter is part of a service connection. The funny thing is that...
And you pay for the service?
Yeah, you are paying for
the amount you paid is for the service connection, not the meter.
Not the meter.
Oh, but your agents tell us. When I say agents, I mean those who work for you.
ECG doesn't have
it. I use it in a generic sense, as in your staff. So when they give you the impression that you're buying.
The ECG staff will never give you that impression. That means
so I want a meter. Okay, in Pacho 400 cedis. So you think
PRC has the how much a single phase meter will cost and how much a 3-phase meter will cost. So when you get in there, you are told, because ECG recovers the cost of a meter over a period of time. It's not immediate, but you find the situation where the intermediaries who have their connections sell the meter to you at the real market price, but they claim they sell, and people actually pay. So maybe that's also another conversation for the regulator, for us to consider whether the full cost should be passed on immediately for a service connection. Because that's also going to close the gaps quickly and make the company profitable. Because clearly people have the appetite to pay for the service. So what are we doing actually allowing for whatever, and they are not able to close the gap?
So you're asking for full cost recovery in giving meters out to people?
I'm not asking for it, I'm saying that we should consider it.
Okay, for meters.
For meters.
In other words, as it is today, the status quo is that it's free.
Yeah, it's not free. What you're paying is actually next to nothing because we recover it over a period of maybe, let's say, 4 or 5 years for a meter. How do you recover it? So it's about there's a price attached to it in the end user tariff or the non-tariff charges that are put up. They give
so the customer indirectly still paying for it over a longer period, so you don't feel it immediately.
Exactly.
But what you're suggesting is that we should consider is doing that upfront.
Exactly.
At full cost.
Full cost.
And that will be what, at the current prevailing rate?
Yeah. We all of that. You see, the truth is we just need to sit down and take a proper look at it and have a holistic view. You see, we are providing a service that's actually very critical now. At some point, when I took office, I made a statement that electricity is a privilege and not a right, and people started chasing me for that statement. Clearly now, everybody sees electricity as a right. So if you're seeing it as a right, then maybe we need to make sure that certain things are enshrined for the service to be enjoyed and enjoyed properly. The truth is, if the company has the requisite revenue or the requisite money, it will provide the kind of service that the good people of Ghana deserve. But currently, as we sit, it's like everything doesn't really move in that direction. So the company is actually struggling. But in actual effect, nobody sells electricity and makes a loss. So that's what has led us to where we are now. And not to run away from your question that brought us to this place about the prosecutions. The conversation of the utility court is far advanced now. So
it's not begun sitting yet, are they?
No, it's because you see, sometimes you forgive and then you start. I wanted this exercise to be our fresh start in this whole thing so that nobody actually has a problem with what was found. So any single person that was found with a bypass who thinks the conversation is about bypass is wrong.
It's about what?
Charged with stealing. Unless, from your introduction, unless you have a basket sitting somewhere at the back of your house where you were collecting the electricity into, hoping that when we come and ask for our electricity, you give it to us. But so far as it has been consumed, you stole with no intention to pay back. So unless you can prove to the court that the electricity, you can give it back, you stole from us, and we are coming for a pound of flesh. Our attitude, our morals, and our responsibility must come back.
I mean, in this process, whilst we've been getting almost daily, weekly updates, I have, of course, there are the big players, industries like Hilbury that we've heard about, and others, the police barracks, etc. But we've not heard much about those you found who actually are doing what you're suggesting, stealing power, apart from those two high-profile ones. Have you found a lot of that in the system? And how much
we found a
have
lot.
you gathered?
We found a lot. We've gathered enough. Don't forget, you are innocent until proven guilty. Some of the issues found themselves into the media is quite sad because the person has to go to court and have their day to explain themselves. So most of them, we are trying our best to keep it under wraps until finally we take it forward and then we can actually prove whatever we have to prove and then everything else comes out. But the truth of the matter is, look, we are at a point where imagine a child growing up in a home where all he saw was an illegal connection. You grow up thinking that is the norm, but it's not. So actually, apart from sustaining this exercise, the next group of people that we are coming for is the illegal connections.
So you're going to have another exercise to chase them down?
Oh, yes.
But that is going to be a challenge because the endemic areas have a reputation for crime, have a reputation to be rowdy.
You know the beautiful thing?
And they understand.
Do you know ECG visited Nima during this exercise?
Oh, but Nima is now becoming gentrified.
Gentrified. Okay, ECG visited Ashaiman during this exercise.
You did?
We did. Look.
You found illegal connections.
Let's be fair to our brothers and sisters who live in these areas. They are very law-abiding. They know those who are doing the illegal connections, and they will tell you, I got illegal. They know. They will tell you.
Are you saying that you got cooperation from Ashaiman?
Fantastic cooperation. Extremely beautiful cooperation. And as I said, if we've had any problems, you would know by now.
No, I remember you had a problem in this Masami Aboso tank town council line, but we call it town council line.
Yeah.
Where your folks went there, I think Leila was part of the team, and they told them to get off. If they have any courage, they should dare come inside the community.
And what happened?
What did you do? I don't
still
know.
went back. It's an exercise. It's an exercise.
Still went back.
We still went back.
With police protection?
My brother, we will come back. We will keep coming back. Because let me say this here. Nobody is bigger than anybody in this country. If you've consumed, you have to pay. If you're going to disturb us, we will take off your feed. That is the truth. Let's be fair. What kind of country are we building here? That you are not the police, you are not the army. Even the police or the army cannot stop us. Even Burma camp allows us to read the bulk meter for us to prepare our bill. So why would a community tell us that we cannot enter that community to read the meters or check the health of the meter? That means clearly you don't want the service.
Do you have a clear idea now which areas are endemic for this and that you'll be focusing on?
We do. I'd prefer not to say it now, but to just say I'm giving everybody a head start, a 1 month head start to correct it. Because, look, listen, I have demonstrated now, ECG has demonstrated their impartiality. I have also demonstrated by letting everybody know that ECG comes first. ECG is not a political unit of any government. ECG is an institution that provides electricity for the good people of Ghana and should be seen as such. And it's everybody's civic duty to pay for their bills when they consume. So let's keep it at that. Let's give it that moral strength and let the company work on its own. Our neighboring countries see it as a criminal offense. People go to jail for stealing power. But why is it that when you come back home here, it's okay?
You want to put people in jail in Ghana for stealing power?
Why not? Why should we? Why? You see, you say it as if we should put a human face to it. Okay, steal it. But if you're going to steal it and we are not going to imprison you or we are not going to disturb you, then let's let you also have the courage to go to the independent power producer and tell him that you stole. He should also forgive. Because we are putting all the responsibility on government. But meanwhile, little drops of water makes a mighty ocean.
You said that so those who are still benefiting from illegal connections, giving them a month.
Head start. They should correct it.
Or
we are coming.
So that's a month notice, a month ultimatum. But you've already done a month already.
That was revenue mobilization.
But you're also gathering evidence.
Yes. So those ones will be taken care of because we've seen them already.
You'll prosecute them.
Yes, but we've realized that it's systemic now.
Okay. So you're going to dedicate a whole month for that too?
Yes, because people have seen it as, it's normal. Okay. It's not normal.
When is the court sitting? Do you know when the court will be?
We will streamline all of that, share all the details with all of you, and then we can go forward on that. We've been doing this exercise with you guys, so why at this point, we are going to do it together with you guys.
Let's clear the high-profile ones and see what you've done so far with them. The Hebrew Hotel.
Yeah.
Are they settled or are they going to be prosecuted?
I strongly believe whatever is due the company should come back to the company. Mm-hmm. But the prosecution side of the matter must take its course.
So you want to take the money and so prosecute?
My brother.
But it doesn't happen like that. You prosecute.
So
if you win,
if it's a criminal offense.
Yeah.
So if I prosecute you and it's a criminal offense, you're going to jail.
But it's the money, yeah. But what about the money?
So I should sue, and then over how many go to court today? It will take how long to recoup the money with what interest?
Yeah, but that's
sometimes.
Are you going to? But have they agreed that they owe you money?
Yes,
they've agreed.
Yes.
Have you given them how much they owe? Because since they were
the assessment has been done and has been given to them.
Have they agreed with you what you've given them?
I strongly believe they have, but the conversations are still far advanced. Okay. But are you saying that because that has happened and they want to give back, we should forgive? Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking you.
If that's what you're saying, look, we are having a discussion. Let's not do an interviewee situation. Put yourself in my shoes. Look at the high moral ground we give to our leaders. And then now you put something, so because he's paid, it's okay. What are you saying?
So even if you're saying now the approach is, even if you pay, we'll still prosecute you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Why should we stop at the fact that you've paid?
What's the purpose of that though?
Deterrence. Because if you stop there, the next thing you say is, oh, you're chimikra, mitia say no. Then when will it stop? So that means you'll be saving for that day.
And the police barracks?
The police barracks, there is a conversation that's to be had. You know, we are partly to be blamed for the police barracks. I must admit, with Ghana Armed Forces, we've streamlined the thing very well. They have a bulk meter. So I think it's about time and how the police barracks were set up. So I don't want to blame the police so much. More so, I want it to be a shared responsibility. We are going to have a complete conversation with the Ghana Police Service to find a way to bulk meter them so we can charge them properly. Because of how the barracks were set up, it has led to this situation, which is quite unfortunate. And these things happen so you can streamline. So in as much as I would want to blame them, I cannot blame them because I also have I have a role to play in this. Yeah. So we need to close that gap as quickly as possible so that we can move forward. So if it's a bulk meter, like the case of the KGTR market thing too, they have a bulk meter. A bulk meter is always far away from the setup. So to us, whatever we fed into the barracks is what we fed into the barracks, and that's our bill. Yeah. Whatever you do within the barracks is your problem, but that's what we fed into it. Ghana Armed Forces realized that wasn't fair, so they were like, okay, the market areas have private people coming in to do business, so let's prepay all the market stalls in the Burma camp, which we did. So we found a way to do a set-off before we give them their bill, so that anybody doing business with the power doesn't get it for free, because that was what was happening and they had to pay. So that thing has been cleared. So I think it's about time we also had a similar conversation.
So the police administration is not going to get the stealing charge?
That's what I'm saying, is that I'm going to say honestly, this was something that we should have looked at years ago and fixed this problem. So I cannot drop the problem solely at the doorstep of the Ghana Police Service.
So that's a problem. This is to deal with the commercial losses problem that you've been facing. And the minister gave an update on this last year when he spoke on it and pulled the figure at 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Is this a 1.5 billion?
I think the losses...
There's a commercial one. We'll come to the technical one, but the commercial one.
The commercial one should actually be around 1.5. But it should have grown by now because the tariffs have gone up. So if tariffs have gone up by 50%, maybe if you slap another 50%.
And that largely is down to all these illegal connections. Yes. So that's huge.
That's very big.
Is that part of the 5.7 billion?
No, it's not part of it.
This is uncollected revenue. This is uncollected revenue. So that's for us, it's also part of it, because you have to not collect as part of the commercial.
Yeah, it's a collection loss.
Okay. So that is what you want to reduce. What's the target to reduce the 1.5 billion?
The immediate thing that we did was to digitalize end-to-end.
Okay.
So after digitalizing end-to-end, we actually could see what the problem was, and that's why we are targeting it. Through this exercise, we would be able to identify customers that are no longer in business, customers that have left, who are folded up years ago but are still on our accounts, because proper cleanup exercise wasn't done on our system for a very long time. But this is what is up. If I tell you that we still have Wahoo on our books, would you believe me?
What is that?
It was one of the steel companies that folded up a long time ago. So
and they're so
they are still on our books with their existing bills there. Meanwhile, the company has folded up. So it's about time, and this is what this exercise is going to afford us. So we will see all of these things and then clear all of them, and then have proper books, and then the numbers.
Talking about commercial losses, what about major industries and commercial entities bypassing your meters creatively beyond what we saw, say, at Hillbury, or on a large scale that you may not know? Because people
you know why I'm laughing, right?
Tell me.
It's because of what you saw me reading.
Of course, you have a document that I'm very interested in.
So you see, the truth of the matter is, I'm not stopping at the fact that I am seeing the revenue, or ECG is seeing the revenue.
So in other words, the fact that you are paying your bill
doesn't mean that you're paying the accurate bill. Yeah. We need ECG. You know what? Let me correct this thing. Fundamentally, whenever I'm talking, because of my passion, I end up using I a lot. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. It's just because of my passion. So please forgive me. It's not that I'm personalizing ECG for myself or anything like that. With all humility and respect, that is not it. It's just because of my passion for what I'm doing. So please bear with me. If you hear me use the word I a lot instead of we, I respect the good people of ECG and the staff, and I appreciate them a lot. So back to the conversation.
Yes, about large companies paying you bills, but they're not paying accurate bills.
So we are coming up with a strategy to be able to quantify these things and measure them properly. Because it has come to our notice that certain bypasses and some stealings are done at night on our blind side.
Allows them to pay you, but they are paying you not the real actuals.
Exactly.
What they want to pay you.
Yeah, exactly. So the bypass is done in such a way that during the day when you get there, everything is fine. It's great. But at night, your meter is
when they crank up the machines and actually work.
The bigger ones to work, your meter
where the real consumption is done.
Exactly. Your meter is just
bypassed.
It's just dead.
So they bypass you when they actually are consuming, and then when the consumption goes down, and then they activate your meter.
Exactly. So
that's very creative.
See, the thing is, so right now, those customers, we know everybody. So we are now actually going to dedicate a system for them. We want to make sure that where they even pick the load from is metered. And then actually we go drill down to make sure that there are certain mechanisms and certain things put in place to make sure that there are no hidden cables and there are no hidden bypasses so that we can actually retrieve the right exact amount of money. Because sometimes you actually look at how much power they've consumed. If you juxtapose it to their taxes, it doesn't even make sense because they made a lot of money. You understand? So clearly the stealing is not even done right. He's saying he didn't use enough power. But he's paying a lot of taxes because his profits are
a reflection of how much you've produced.
Exactly. So that's also another conversation.
If you don't have power, how are you producing this much?
Exactly. So this is the conversation where we have to even sit down with Yoko to see economic and organized crime, to see how best they can assist us when we do these computations, because that is the highest level of dishonesty that you could ever see. Because you're actually using it. These are your taxes, these are your profits that you've declared. Yet look at the amount of power you're claiming you used. It's not commensurate. Unless you can prove that you have a different source of power, which is also a different conversation. But from now, these are all the little things.
Let me ask you, is this hypothetical or you found real evidence of industry doing that?
We found.
So that is what informing this strategy going forward.
Exactly.
So you're going after industry.
Yeah. Look, no, I'm not limiting it to industry. We are going after all customers who are in the habit of stealing.
Yeah, I mean, so we've talked about that.
Because right now we are actually going to meter every single distribution transformer. In the residential areas.
So you're metering the transformer?
Yes. The transformer that
not the
your feed. No, as for the homes, you already metered.
But what's the purpose of that?
Because it's going to be energy accounting and audit. What the transformer tells me I have fed into it, compared to your meter in your home, should be equal.
But that's bulk. He's telling you the bulk for the entire community.
So it's not the entire community. What you're talking about is boundary metering. I am talking about DT metering, distribution transformer metering. For every DT, for every distribution transformer, there's a number of homes on it.
Okay. What's the maximum
depending
number
on the load, you cannot have a flat number. It's depending on the load on it.
So it's finite. You know, in this community, this transformer is serving 10 homes.
Exactly, or 20 homes.
And it says I've distributed what?
Five. Let's say 1 megawatt.
1 megawatt. And yet, when you go to the homes and you put the combined total, it's what? It's less.
It's less.
It's less. Okay.
Or it's over. Or you would find the discrepancy.
They have to now reconcile.
Yes.
So what is accounting for the gap?
So what's accounting for the gap? Now you have to visit every single home. But the meter that is not reading right, you will see immediately. Okay. The meter that has been tampered with, you will see immediately. Or the home that is not doing the right thing will be seen immediately. So you do not have to disturb honest customers, but you can actually drill down on the person who's stealing the power.
Okay, so would this be part of that? You're given a 1 month ultimatum here. When you begin that exercise, would they be part of the?
So the DT metering is the whole conversation has been done. Those meters are being procured to be installed.
Okay.
We are going to do our best to get that done before the end of the year. Yeah, we are doing our best to get it done before the end of the year.
Let me ask you about the industry bit that you're going to begin. You must have a conversation with the Ghana Association of Industries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You intend to?
We intend to. You know,
have you told them about this, what you've discovered, that some of your members are doing this?
So, you see,
have you informed them?
We are having a conversation now.
Okay.
You've asked me, I'm being honest with you. So maybe some of them are hearing it here for the first time. I'm sorry. We will come back. When we are ready, we'll have a sit down with them, show them what we are seeing, why we are embarking on the exercise, and why we need their support. I think one of the beautiful things is that whenever you're embarking on a certain exercise and you speak to people about it, the understanding of your situation and their welcoming of it, just as how we did before we started the exercise. So that's something that we will do before we target the whole situation and then drill down on it and make sure that we do the right thing.
I remember when I spoke to you first, you had this phrase that electricity has no political colors. There's been this slight controversy about what you did or didn't do. When I say you, I mean ECG did or didn't do in the home of John Mahama, the former president. Apparently, your men went there as part of this exercise, revenue collection exercise, to check whether he's paid his bill.
That's even a distortion. That's actually even a distortion.
So what happened?
So
what really happened with John Mahama?
You see, it's quite sad why we've even politicized this in the first place. I'm tempted not to even comment about this because it takes the shine off the exercise that we are doing. Why? Every single thing we do in this country must be given a political connotation. Is it because we want recognition? So we should do that for one of our biggest companies to collapse? I'm tempted not to say anything about this because it saddens my heart to wake up and we would not give any prominence to the exercise that's being carried on, but rather we want to single out to put the conversation in a certain political dimension that would seem to help one person. Somebody has vindicated some. Look, in fairness, this is how it started. We were billing everybody. Former presidents, we are supposed to bill and collect from the office of the chief of staff.
Okay.
I had a sit-down session with the chief of staff of the Republic
John
of
Kufuor, John Mahama. You billed them and you give it to the chief of staff, and then the chief of staff will pay.
Yeah. I had a conversation with the chief of staff who asked me point blank that, have we been there to look at those bills and blah, blah, and to reconcile? Because this is the conversation that the former president has been paying his bills. So that means that immediately she said that I took that as a what do you call it? As a defect on our side. Because the responsibility is on us because we know what to do and know where to collect.
Okay.
So that shortfall actually is an ECG problem and not a political problem.
In other words, he shouldn't be paying his own bills.
Yes, he shouldn't be paying.
If you were reading,
exactly,
you would have
you
have gone to the right place.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if we haven't done that, then that means it's our fault because she was ready to pay.
Okay.
So she then gave the instructions as to make sure this is done, make sure it's carried out, and make sure it's done properly.
I get the bill so I can pay.
Exactly. So now we got in touch and we ascertained what was going on. So we got to the bottom of it. Yes, he had been paying for some of them. He had been paying his bills. Let me not say some of them. He had been paying his bills. So the conversation is far advanced as to, Your Excellency, henceforth, this is how it's going to be managed. This is how it's going to be done. We are sorry for the shortfall on the part of ECG. We promise to do better by you. That was it.
Okay.
So for me to wake up and hear this, that, it's
so it has been politicized.
It has been politicized, knowing very well that we shouldn't politicize this. You know, there are a lot of things, if you want to score political capital, there are a lot of things you can do to score political capital.
I believe you did the same for John Kufuor.
Yes.
So you also went to John Kufuor's home?
Yes, his bills have been read and everything has been...
Was he also paying for himself?
They had been paying up to a period of time. Okay. So we then took whatever is left and is outstanding and we took it to the chief of staff and she has settled those bills.
Okay. For both John Kufuor and John Mahama?
For all of them.
So henceforth, yes, you still read their meters.
You see...
But the bill will go to
state institutions have an obligation towards former heads of state.
Yeah.
When we don't do our work, then we allow for that gap to happen where the politics comes in. Because if we were doing our work right, guess what? The former president would not have to be paying his bills. Because, Your Excellency, we are here, we've taken it, thank you very much, it will be dealt with.
That's it.
Game set. But because of that shortfall and nobody wanting any sort of embarrassment, what do? You'd want to close that gap so that one day nobody comes up. And we need to stop politicizing this thing. And when I even said this on Peace FM, it was quite jovial to the extent that I even cracked the joke and said, when I spoke to him about the reconciliation, I was like, we have to reconcile and see. And I know considerations will have to be spoken about as to how to refund. But I did quite him fear and some fun baby. So So until that conversation is done, I just prompted that just for laughter. But at the end of the day, you finish and the import of the entire exercise lost. You want to give it a political connotation so you can score a certain point.
Yeah, in fact, we focus largely on the exercise and the big point of recruiting the money. But for those that he's paid himself, you make the point that around that joke, will he be refunded? Will he get a refund? You got the money.
Yes, he's entitled to a refund, but that's a conversation for us.
I hope you're wishing the election.
But everybody, the same thing. That's why I use the account proverb. I didn't call him fiancé, my people. So we will have a chat.
No, but seriously, he's entitled to a refund.
Yes, yes, he is.
Does he need to request? How does the process work?
No. That's why I said we will sit with him and have a refund and have a conversation, a proper conversation about it. And how
so in that way, now you're asking people to do a payment plan. You do a payment plan
if we have to do a payment plan, we'll do a payment plan.
And pay your debt.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
We all have to do the right thing at some point.
You just want to do the right thing.
Yeah, we have to do the right thing.
If he's entitled to refund, that's the right thing.
That's the right thing to do.
We will reconcile.
Yeah.
And we will pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight away.
Okay. Let's just wrap up on this political thing. When we spoke at the beginning, there were many people, I'm pretty sure your following people would have got Samuel, did politicians try and get in your way? And how did you maneuver to the end of that? Now the minister himself has joined you, is your boss.
Yeah.
Did you struggle to deal with the political tensions in private?
We just said something about how everything in this country is
politicized. Yes.
So what do you think happened?
Well, I'm pretty sure that people would have called you, both from your own and from
of course, from all sorts, all the divides. All the divides. It touched everybody. That's why I was saying, let's not politicize this. So in truth, I would have to, first of all, thank God, because he helped me to stand firm. Again, after God, I will thank my board for supporting me. I will thank my minister, because even him I didn't spare before the exercise took off.
It was the first you disconnected, actually.
So it's a conversation that we will, with all the support that we are getting, and even I must take a pause and thank the president himself, thank the vice president, the chief of staff, the secretary to the president. Big thank you to them for the massive support that they've given to me. Look, they have showed their willingness to make sure that this gap is closed and is closed quickly. Nobody has been given any leeway or has been considered in any way, shape, or form. If you owe, you are paying, and you have to pay.
Jubilee House, they are
at zero now.
Before
we started, they had closed the gap to a certain point, but now they are at zero. Pardon?
Were your men there?
I went.
Yourself?
Which men?
You went to Jubilee.
So why send people to go for when you have to go yourself? I just told you that I had to sit down with the chief of staff of the Republic of Ghana. So yeah,
he's the chief of staff. Oh, you say you pay for others, but please,
So when you are going like that, you go with everything. You don't go with half and say you are talking for other people.
Okay,
mommy, you.
So they've paid up.
Yeah, they've paid up.
Okay. There's a part of me that's skeptical. So when all these big institutions, Jubilee House, when they say they paid up, have they really paid?
So the truth of the matter is,
or they say, by ECG you owe the state. We've given you a lot of money, so we have netted it off.
Well, the truth of the matter is this: you can. There's no unless you are asking it in a hypothetical form, but whatever way, shape, or form, they've paid. Because if you're running a company, you have a book. You have a ledger. You have an account system that you operate. So far as you can record it as revenue, it is revenue. So I would say for a fact and with all confidence that the Office of Government Machinery doesn't owe ECG.
Okay. When you say they've paid, is it bankable or is an assurance I will pay? And then
It's bankable.
Okay. Let's talk.
You're trying to find ways around it now.
Because we are in this country where state says we've paid and you go and check and.
But you see, right now state says they've paid and it's not you. When we publish our accounts, you see.
Yeah, of course.
And now we have to publish because so.
By the way,
yeah,
this is part of the IMF conversation. True or false?
It's not.
It is. It's not.
What is the collection exercise?
Collection exercise.
No.
It's part of an IMF.
No.
It's not.
No.
Yeah, but the timing is it's just the coincidence is quite alarming.
Truth of the matter is either you tell ECG, wow, you guys are doing great.
Yes, you're doing great.
But do not accord it to IMF.
But the reason why
the IMF conversation never had a portion of it that says you guys.
But revenue. I recall very correctly when the German ambassador spoke about the challenges with securing the Paris Club assurances. One of the key areas he mentioned was the energy sector.
Yes.
And it begs the reason why this question is important is, will you have done it if we're not in this much of an economic mess? And collecting revenues and dealing with energy sector debt wasn't almost one of the hindrances securing some of the assurances. That's why this is important.
It was a management decision from the get-go. But we needed to close certain gaps in our home before we came out so that we knew exactly what we were doing. Where ECG sits, we've not had the opportunity to say this is the case and that's what they've told us to do. Nobody asked us to do that. We as a company decided that this is where we have to go. And if we are owed $5.7 billion out there, which is over $500 million, we'd have no moral right to be sitting in our offices in air condition hoping that our problem will go away. That's why we got up. And in the case of the German ambassador, he was confident in speaking because he is on prepaid meters. You understand? So it also brings the whole conversation to light.
It's not as if you've been to the German embassy.
Boss, everybody's bill passes through my So it's about us closing the gap as quickly as possible and making sure that we don't leave any stone unturned. So if through this, we've now realized the necessity of making sure that we push strongly on the prepaid meter system and close the gap. When the whole conversation of prepaid meters came up, we were hoping that government at some point will have some huge amount of money and give to ECG to clear all those meters. That's not happening. So we have to find a quick way. We started the loss reduction program. Some meters, so far about 1,000 plus meters have come in through the system now and it's ramping up, it's coming up. So we'll just tell our customers to be patient. Give us a few, like another month or so, meters should
have enough meters on the system. But what caused the shortage?
Lack of money.
Okay.
We didn't have the money. So for about a year, we hadn't purchased any meters.
Okay. Yeah. But then the political meters, I realized that it's part of the problem that you had to deal with whilst you were going around.
Yes.
They're still in the system.
Yes, there are a lot of them in the system.
What is the strategy to get them out of
We have to do a know your customer drive to authenticate our old information for billing and then add the new customers. We completed this exercise in Kwabenya where we discovered about 15,000 new customers. We are now in Adenta. We are about to kickstart in Kumasi in Ashanti region to move forward. So we're sure by the time we are done, we'll have the true numbers. And if the numbers are good, as we are expected it to be, actually it might even lead to a reduction in tariff. Because don't forget, the number of customers is what they use as the base factor to portion out the, So if right now they are calculating it by 4.5 million, if we identify that we have more than that, then the tariff conversation must change. So I will entreat all Ghanaians to allow us to complete the exercise so we can have whatever reductions in tariff that we want to enjoy.
So we're doing a meter census?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, and the number, if you get it accurate and it's above a certain threshold, it could help
break down. Because what we are doing is we are tagging the distribution transformer, the last wood pole, your meter, your details, your Ghana card. Yeah, because now even the phone number gives us, on the new ECG app, the phone number gives you the Ghana card. Yes. So it's as easy as it gets. So that's the conversation that's being had now. Truth of the matter is, look, anybody will be seeing those QR codes being pasted on their houses, please. It just gives us your information so we can beam it at any point in time and use it.
Yeah.
Please allow us. We are not there to steal from you. We are just doing this so that we can all benefit from our own system. So let's just be calm. Let's assist ECG to assist you.
Okay. Just before we end, the IPPs say you owe the 1.4. You don't dispute that?
I don't dispute that.
$1.4 billion. Yeah. And recently they've had calls to issue a statement and call for some resolution. Mm-hmm. The government had attempted to restructure it. They've rejected that conversation entirely. From the ECG's point of view, how are you resolving this?
We are waiting for a sit down. I hear there's supposed to be a meeting somewhere next week.
Who's calling for that meeting?
The finance minister and a group that was set up by the finance minister called the Project Light. We will all have a meeting with the IPPs to see what the situation is now, how we can close the gap, and what the way forward is.
You've collected in excess of 2 billion. How much are they getting out of that?
Okafu Didi. That's what I'll tell you for now.
Yeah, still.
But they will get some. They will get some. Okay. But you haven't determined yet how much. Yeah, everybody.
How much
no, but based on the cash waterfall, whatever we are getting, we are distributing now. Mm-hmm. So we are still using the same cash waterfall mechanism for the distributions. And then at the end, we'll sit down, know what the shortfalls are. The main aim is to make sure that moving forward, we don't owe again. If we are able to close the gap for moving forward, the conversation now becomes of what is ring-fenced then becomes the legacy debt.
Okay, so I need to ask you, what's the total debt on your books now as you speak?
I don't want to speculate. You'd have to give me some time to drill down on it and give you the full
But I'm
figure.
sure it will be a humongous figure.
But I think that's it, though. I think it's all the 1-point-something billion that we are talking about now. I think that should be it. It shouldn't be more than that.
Okay.
I don't think it should be more.
So tomorrow this ends? And then you reconcile.
Sadly. And then we reconcile.
And then you come again at the end of the month.
Because I don't want to come back at the end of this month immediately.
Not this month, yeah.
At May.
End of May you come back.
We'll come back.
And then at the beginning of June is when you go after the illegal power consumers.
Yeah.
And then you also move into the industry and have a conversation.
Exactly. I think we have to tackle all of these things on every different front and as quickly as possible if we want to close the gap, because as I said, every single drop counts at the stage that we are in now. We need to close these gaps as quickly as possible so that we can see our way forward.
Samuel, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Wish you all the best. Okafor Didi, as he says, almost 2 billion plus that he's collected. Maybe he can give me part of that, just a small percentage of that particular amount. Or
I will try. But we'll go to jail together then.
Oh man, you can decide to forgive my bill for the next 1 year. Enjoy the rest of your evening, people.